Ron and Fez Show. Rob Bennington, Fez Whatley with you live on 106.7 WJFK. And reminding you, you can also catch us in the midday at 11 a.m. right after Howard Stern.
Sometimes I hear this song, Fezzy, I want you to hold a mirror up in front of me. Fez, big news today. The Moose is on the loose.
The Moose is on the loose. Police Chief Charles Moose, he, of course, is the Montgomery County Police Chief. He was the point person during last fall's sniper attacks. He has quit the force. He has resigned.
So that he could go on with his new career writing books and screenplays about the sniper attack.
Right. He says it's time to move on and explore other paths in his life. He wants to focus on the future. Those are the reasons Chief Moose is giving for resigning. Now, of course, he's been in front of the Ethics Commission and everything else about writing this book about the sniper attacks.
They're going, hey, you're a police officer. You're not supposed to be writing a book about this. You know, you're not supposed to turn around and take your inside experience and make money off of it. It seems to me, and I don't want to judge the guy, and I will tell you this, I was not in the area when the attacks happened. Fez and I were in New York at the time, but followed it as closely as we could, and always felt like, man, it seems like he should have came up with somebody quicker.
Yeah, it was really frustrating to watch because it was Moose every day who was out there at the podium.
Right.
And you're thinking, and remember all the theories that were flying around?
Yeah.
That it was, maybe a Navy SEAL or some military strategist that, went nuts, a CIA agent or something.
They were acting like it was Dr. Evil, not some guy sleeping in a car with a kid. Not to attack him on this. And I know it must have been a tough thing to pull off. But how does he think... Now, how many victims were there altogether?
Let's see. How many were there altogether? Did it get to, like, 12? Or?
Yeah, it was ridiculous amounts where you're not acting like, wow, you've really cracked the case. It seems to me that just time caught up with this guy. And maybe I'm completely off here. 866-277-4969. But out of everybody who was part of that, and an entire community, why is this guy writing the book? Why is this guy making the money?
Now, his book, 3 weeks in October. It's supposed to be released this October. And another one of the problems was they thought that if he was writing this book, it could actually compromise the case for prosecutors.
Absolutely. How do they know what he's putting in the book? He's supposed to be putting a case together about the people who did these crimes. Not going out and trying to get on Good Morning America while you're selling your book and going, who should play me?
So it's books and also movie projects that he's working on.
And get this through your head. It shouldn't be Denzel. You do not look like Denzel, so stop bringing that up.
866-277-4969 is the toll-free phone number. So Chief Moose resigns, and now I guess since he resigns, is he free to write his book? That's what I want to know. Or is he still under obligation not to write it?
Hey, Jim, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Jim.
You guys just said that you followed it as closely as you could, and Chief Moose did this or didn't do that. And I work at a school right around the corner from all that stuff happened. You guys didn't live, with bullets whizzing by your head.
Hey, absolutely. No, that's not the point that I'm trying to make. My point was trying to be this, Jim. Why him who decides at this point to get off the job that he had before to cash in?
It's like he's the last person to cash in? Come on.
No,
he did a good job. They did what they could. We're running, keeping our heads down, bobbing and weaving when we're at gas stations and stuff.
All right, so he's the only one who gets paid on this?
No, hey, everybody should write a book. Don't get to write a book, and, the FBI agents, who cares?
And you're not waiting until... No, I care, because the fact is, these guys have not been put away yet.
Right, I guess.
The job is not over. And maybe he did the best job in the world. But what I'm trying to say is this, or he did at least the best job he could. But the job is not over. All the people wrote stuff about the OJ stuff, most of them after the trial. That's when they cashed in on the victims.
I definitely will agree with you there. He can write a book. I think he should probably wait. I agree with you.
I don't think...
And by the way, I just started listening to you guys. Is that guy really a comic? Because he's terrible.
Yeah, that's Harry.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
He's laughing.
He hopes to write a book when Harry met comedy, but it hasn't come out yet. All right, 866-277-4969. Here's Paul. Paul, you're on Fez.
Hey, Paul, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, gentlemen. I'm just curious how long exactly Chief Moose's book is going to be, because he's probably got about one chapter in where he describes in great detail the ham and cheese sandwich that he ate during the case.
All right, so I don't know that much about it to say that. I mean, to watch on television, and as the last caller said, we weren't here at the time. To watch on television, it was very frustrating.
Well, I just think it's not realistic to think that he had that much to do with it any more than, the CEO of a big company has anything to do with making the widget.
Yeah, I mean, because it doesn't seem like this case was solved because of some particular... I mean, some of it seems to be luck, and some of it seemed to be the timing on the guy.
I mean, if you look back at a lot of it, there was the case in Birmingham got brought up.
Yeah.
The ex-wife in Louisiana. The guy was bragging when he was down south. It got tied into some sort of case in Seattle. And then next thing you know, he was spotted by a trucker.
Right.
But the beautiful thing is that Charles Dutton has, in fact, been cast to play him in the movie.
Rock?
Yes.
All right, thank you. That's a little bit more closer than Denzel.
Here is James. James, you're on Fez.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, my deal is how important is this book compared to how we could be using this guy in other cases? I'm saying he's a great guy. I'm glad he did what he did, but couldn't we utilize him more? You're using his experience in other cases versus him putting out a book for what seems to be his own personal gain.
Well, I would say this: we still need him on this case.
Well, exactly.
This is before everybody goes around celebrating about this and writing the book and cashing in, let's make sure that this case is closed first.
Exactly. Have him do his job and continue, to do what he's doing.
I think he's actually taking a leave of absence for some National Guard duty now.
He resigned. It was on the news.
Yeah,
I mean before he resigned officially.
Right.
He was taking time off anyway.
But suppose he writes something in this book that the prosecutors have no control over at that time. I mean, it ain't going to be up to them to be able to go through this book and go, wait, we like this, we don't like this. You should basically wait until after the trial, and then he could write whatever he wanted.
Yeah, there's absolutely no hurry on this whatsoever. If there's an audience for it, it's still going to be there.
That I disagree with, because I think that Hollywood and probably whoever he sold the book to thinks that the highest audience will be during the trial. I literally think that's why they pushed it up. If you came out with the O.J. book while people were watching, that's the time for it to happen. So I literally feel, to me, like it's done to cash in. Here's Mary, you're on Fez.
Hey, Mary.
Hi, Ron. Hi, Fez.
Hi, honey.
I am furious with Chief Moose.
Yeah.
He got on TV when this whole thing was happening last October and kept saying, and I'm sure it wasn't just his decision, he was the spokesman. There were a whole bunch of people involved, FBI, everybody. And he gets on and for an entire day says, our kids are safe, our kids are safe, our kids are safe. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting in a cafeteria with a whole bunch of people and our mouths dropped. All of us knew the next person shot would be a kid. And sure enough, it was.
It was that middle school student. That happened the very next day.
And when purposely out because he was on there, it was if he was baiting them. I couldn't believe how stupid it was, So, anyway, I'm furious at him. And then his wife gets on TV after he was told he couldn't publish this book because it was a conflict. And his wife compares him to Martin Luther King and says he's a martyr.
Yeah.
I am just... And he was praised, and to me, I thought he was stupid. I just didn't see it. I thought it took them, as you said, too long. They kept looking for white trucks. Everybody knew it wasn't a white truck. There are a million white trucks. Somebody saw one leaving a gas station. Oh, man. I'm furious about it.
That's right. Every white van was getting pulled over.
Thank you very much for calling us, Mary.
Okay.
All right,
bye.
see you very much. See you later. 866-277-4969. Here's Gail. Gail, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Gail.
Hi.
Hi, Gail.
I just want to say that I think they should let him write the book. I agree that they should wait till after the trial, but we have all these criminals writing books, making money, and here we have a public servant that isn't paid what he deserves to be paid, has the opportunity to make some money, and everybody suddenly wants to stomp on him. I thought he handled the situation very well, and I think he should be allowed to write the book.
I think that, yes, anybody can write any book about their experiences, but my point is this. The job isn't over. You do not just suppose anymore that these trials are slam dunks. They're not.
He's going to do a disservice if he compromises this trial to the entire community.
I agree he shouldn't compromise the trial, but they were saying they didn't want him writing the book, period. And I thought that was wrong.
And you know that these guys' attorneys are going to, if this book comes out, they will go word for word looking for any mistreatment of Malvo or any sort of thing whatsoever, any little hint of a story not lining up with what the police are saying.
And it will absolutely be people smarter than us going through this book, looking for a loophole. Okay,
So
Gail.
has anyone said the book is going to come out before the trial?
Yeah, they said it was in October.
Yeah, it's supposed to be released this October.
Oh.
All right. Thank you, Gail.
Okay, well, I agree with that part.
All right, thank you. Beautiful name.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Here is Annie. Annie, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Annie, go ahead.
I agree. I just listening on hold. I mean, I found out more information I didn't even know. But it just sets me off that he would do it during the trial. I understand the people's interest, just like you said, OJ, but he should definitely wait. It's not like he had writing aspirations before the trial, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he wasn't, he had set out to be a lifetime cop is what he was going to do.
And
now this came up.
Author and screenwriter.
Yeah.
Charles Moose.
Yeah. And I would actually say this. If Brody from Jaws was going to write a book, you wait until after you know that the shark is dead.
Right.
You don't do it while the shark is still out there. All right, thank you very much.
Obligation is to the people.
Yes, thank you very much. Here is Daniel. Daniel, you're on the air.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to say that, Chief Moose did a good job, and I think that he was representing more the community of police officers as opposed to just one person solving a crime.
Well, what's your point there? And that was it.
Click.
Yeah, I agreed. There was a hell of a lot of police officers tied up in that. Of course, they're all not going to write books.
Yeah, several jurisdictions involved.
Yeah, and of course, federal, state, local, every which way you're going to go. Aaron, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, good evening. I was just thinking to myself that I don't know who would want to read this stuff anyway. There was so much news coverage of the events as they happened, and there will be so much more of the trial itself. What could he possibly have to say that I'd want to spend $20 to read?
These type of books sell really, really well. People love to read true crime books. When you walk into a Walden's bookstore, that's one whole wall that just says true crime. Why? I don't know. It never works for me personally.
Because people like to think that they're detectives. They like to think that if that was their job, they could figure out these things.
Yeah.
And they'd like to compare their skills to Charles Moose's and see if they could have found the criminals faster.
So, there you basically have it. People,
they like to play detective.
Yeah, people love a true crime. Rudy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Rudy.
Hey, I think that a lot of these listeners are doing a huge disservice. And Chief Moose did an excellent job. Just because he's black, chief of police, I think people are basically doing a witch hunt on him, and it's actually ridiculous. That lady who called about the child being shot should really be ashamed of herself, because it was great crime-solving work, not only by the chief, but other organizations and other police agencies that got in there and actually was able to nab this guy. And it's tough finding a sniper. That's why it's called a sniper, because this is a guy who, two individuals are basically stealth. Now, as far as the court case goes, Ron says, he's in the state of Virginia, so they're basically going to fry him.
You don't know that, my friend. You do not know that. And I think it would be really ridiculous to say. One thing that I'm curious about, Rudy, is where did you get the racism at?
Well, but the majority of callers are all white, first of all.
Well, that doesn't mean that.
And the opinion, if it was a white police commissioner or a chief of police that wrote the book, I'm sure that your calls were not called and made these types of comments. But because it was a black African American who wanted to go ahead and create a book, and he did a damn. If anyone could stand in this man's shoes and go through the things that he went through, especially trying to put... All
right, Rudy, I think you have to understand the basic point, and the guy has every right to write a book. What is merely brought up at this point, with us anyway, and I think so far all the callers, is the timing of that. Now, some people are going to think that he didn't do a good job. Some people are going to think he did do a great job. I didn't hear anything come up about racism.
I just hope they're not basing their opinions on race.
Well, if they do, you'll hear this.
White people are so scared.
And you know, Annie DeFranco is always ready here on the Ron and Fez show.
We'll make sure they hear that.
Okay?
All right, you take care, man.
See you, Rudy.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Rudy. 866-277-4969. Chief Moose resigning as Montgomery County Police Chief, and in the middle of an ethics commission trying to stop him from writing his book.
And I will say this about the racism thing, Fezzi. Mikey D's, the godfather of his daughter, is Dominican.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That proves
85% of his fans and friends are Hispanic.
So that's beautiful right there. Here's Lorraine, sweet Lorraine. Let the party carry on. You're on Ron and Fez.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi, Lorraine.
I actually want to just comment on by using some of Chief Moose's famous words.
Yeah.
It would be inappropriate at this time for us to comment while our investigation is still ongoing. I'd like to top it off with just saying we're not going to talk about that.
All right.
Because we like to say that a lot.
Thank you very much, Lorraine.
Maybe that should be the name of the book.
Here's Jason. Jason, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, go ahead, buddy.
Look, a couple things I wanted to get to right away. I don't want to take a lot of time, but I actually work for the county police department. There was a big issue during the investigation. We were watching the news, finding out information before we were being told by the department. Okay? There's definitely big problems. I mean, it's not exactly Chief Moose's fault, okay, because there was a lot of hands in the cookie jar in this deal.
Sure.
There was basically every police department in the state of Maryland. Yeah, Fairfax County, Virginia, Prince William County, Virginia, FBI, Maryland State Police. Okay, it went on and on. All right.
Yeah.
That was the big thing that we were concerned about as far as police officers go. You know, the night that this guy was stopped, these two guys were stopped and arrested in Frederick County, the news knew about the vehicle and the tag before the police officers did. And they said that they tried to notify us by having us call the district stations to give us the information because they were afraid that it would get out and there'd be a big problem with that. Well, the news already knew, okay? As far as Chief Moose goes, decent guy, did really nothing for the department as a whole. Okay, nothing against him. And everybody keeps bringing up racial bias. This is nonsense.
Not just Rudy so far.
But, Jason, you're a police officer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you calling.
All right, guys.
Here is Dave. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Ron and Fez. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, I love the show, man. You guys doing a great job.
Yeah, it really is good.
And hey, your volume's a little low. I don't know if it's this crappy phone of mine, but anyway, the chief, you know, we had people come up to us and telling us what a wonderful job he did. But the fact is, I mean, he's a talking head, and you know, there were real investigators out there doing a lot of hard work, and it just kind of aggravates me that he's getting as much credit as he did. And you know, the whole thing about him writing a book before the trial is ridiculous.
Well, you know I knew he was the spokesperson, but once the sniper attack started happening all over the area outside of Montgomery County and the FBI became involved, I mean, how much did Chief Moose actually keep contributing to the investigation other than being the point person and the guy who spoke to the media?
Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much it. I'm not saying he did a bad job, because that's what the chief is supposed to do, but, you know, the fact is, I had people come up to me and say, hey, thanks for catching the sniper. I'm like, I didn't catch the sniper. You know, I mean, everybody did their part, but hey, for him to take a lot of the credit, it's wrong. I'm sorry to see the guy go. I didn't have anything against him personally, but
right.
You know,
you would have rather seen him wait before he wrote the book.
Well, yeah, I mean, or at least say, look, I write the book. Whatever money I make from it is going to go towards the victims' families, which I think would have been appropriate. But I haven't heard him make that statement yet. If he had,
all right. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. You know, I mean, it doesn't always work that way, Fezzy. And like Rudy Giuliani wrote a book, and I don't know if he gave money back to the victims or whatever. And, you know, he was kind of the spokesperson for what happened in New York over 9/11. I don't have a problem at all with the guy writing out there his own experiences.
But what you have to do with Chief Moose, you have to be so careful at this stage of the game. Look at the Scott Peterson case. There have been leaks after leaks from these autopsy reports, police reports, wiretaps, everything from both sides, defense and prosecution. That case is so compromised right now. If that guy did it, he could very literally end up walking on this thing. And you don't want to let these two snipers loose on a technicality.
How many times, whenever we see such a big, high-profile case where they go, this is a slam dunk, and it's not. It happens all the time.
It never is. Look at the FBI's track record in the past 5-6 years. They rarely get their man.
866-277-4969. Here's Vic. Vic, you're on Fez.
Ron and Fez, what's happening? Let me just say one thing. This is absolutely, positively racism. That woman who called about Charles Moose saying what he said about the child, he never said that. He said that the kids are in school and they are safe. Do not worry, because they were in school at the time. Mm-hmm. So she's an idiot. And the last caller who said that the police officer, whoever he was, he's even a bigger idiot for saying what he said, because Charles Moose didn't take any credit for anything. He was just a figurehead who was in charge at the time. I personally live in Montgomery County and have walked up to several police officers to the day and said to them, thank you for catching a sniper, whether they did or whether they didn't.
Right.
Because they all worked hard on it.
Absolutely.
Sure. One more point.
Yeah.
Giuliani, that situation in New York isn't over yet with the 9/11 deal. They haven't been tried anything, but he wrote a book on it. He wrote a book about his divorce before he was divorced, and they talking about he's going to be president, this, that, and the other.
Well, he's not going to be president.
They're going to make him president for cheating on his wife. Where's his morals? This is definitely racist.
All right, Vic, first of all, Giuliani is not going to be president of anything.
That's what they say.
He's not going...
He can't get elected in this country.
He couldn't get elected senator
in
New York.
You guys could have been mayor and deputy mayor of New York when 9/11 happened, and you guys would be just as large as Giuliani is.
Some people see us that way.
At the right time.
All right, but Vic, don't you think, and I'm not busting your balls here, but at any time, can you have a problem with a black person that's in charge of something without being racist about it?
Can you have a black person that's in charge of something without being...
Can you have a disagreement with that person without being called a racist for it?
Oh, no, you know what? I don't agree with that. I do believe that if you have a disagreement with a black person, it's going to be racist. Let me give you one quick point.
Yeah.
They got BET, and I'm a black man. They got BET. If they had something called Whitey TV, don't you know Al Sharpton and the rest of them fools would be down there, oh, we can't have this, that, and the other. No, absolutely. And as far as Montgomery County Police are concerned, I love them. Only problem I have out of Montgomery County Police come from black officers. The white officers treat me wonderful.
Now, do you believe, like the previous caller, Rudy, said, that if this was a white police chief, none of this would be happening, and he'd be allowed to write his book?
I think it would still be happening. So, no, I think it's racist as far as the individuals that are calling, just kind of putting in their little slide remarks. And I don't think it would be as big. I think what made it worse was Charles Moose's wife when she compared him to Martin Luther King.
Right.
What was she drinking? I mean,
and besides, it should have been Martin Luther King Jr., not just Martin Luther King. Hey, I will say this, Vic, though. We do have an all-white television network. We call it CBS, and we're
I hear you, but you don't call it Whitey TV.
Well, when you guys aren't around, we do. Thank you very much for calling, Vic.
All right, guys.
White entertainment television, wet. Tonight on Wet.
We're going to take a break, Fezzy. Everybody's, passionate about this. I realize it's not as funny as having Harry in here.
Where we can all poke fun.
Yeah, it's not as funny as when Harry gets in here and starts riffing, but sometimes you got to talk about this stuff. 866-277-4969.